Well, Donald Trump has been stirring up a lot in the media today. Some pretty big stuff. The Trump Organization is officially now selling on their website Trump 2028 hats. This is merchandise. Really, another indication that President Trump, or at least is toying with the idea of running in 2028. Eric Trump, President Trump's son, posted a picture online wearing a Trump 2028 hat. You can see that picture right here. Just absolutely wonderful. Which are being sold currently for $50. Apparently, Trump's political operation has promoted the hat as well. This is kind of a big deal, and I think this is something that needs to be addressed right now, because at the end of the day, this is who Donald Trump is. Donald Trump is a businessman. I think there's multiple facets to this. I think you can put, there's a lot of reasons why Trump, the Trump administration, the Trump organization is doing this. It's good money to begin with. You can sell $50 hats online to your supporters. It's like, I think as a businessman, I think that's a decision that has been made. But also, this is who Donald Trump is. He pokes the bear. He consistently pokes the bear that everybody tells him not to poke, and he always pokes at it. And this is nothing new. People are acting like this is some sort of constitutional crisis here, that Donald Trump is going to be a dictator and is never going to leave office. It's never going to happen. He's not going to leave office. You know, that's what they said in 2020, that Donald Trump was just going to hunker down in the White House and never leave. And you know what he did? He left on January 20th. Because you know why? Because he lost the election in 2020. And he left. He left in 2020 because he lost the election. But at the end of the day, he loves to poke the bear, and he's a masterful troll. You have some Democrats, some liberals, who this is kind of who they are. And I wonder if I've got there's some good videos on here about it. There's, this one right here. You know, there are a lot of Democrats that this is how they react to anything Donald Trump does. Now Donald Trump just throws it out there that he's going to run in 2028. He's been poking at this for 10 years. You can go back to 2016, 2017, 2018, when he kept posting on Twitter at the time, was posting it was a meme, but a video of him. It was a Trump 2016 campaign side, then a 2020 and a 24 and 28 and 32 and 36 and 40 and 44 and 48 and 52. And it just kept going on and on and on and on. But here's the reality. Donald Trump cannot run for president in 2028. The Second Amendment to the Constitution, specifically, it is not more clear than this. And for all the liberals out there who are freaking out, who says Donald Trump is a dictator, he's never going to leave the White House, it is a clear violation of the Second Amendment. There are many things. This is just not going to happen. Let's just get that out there. This is not going to happen. This is Donald Trump being who he is, a troll, distracting Democrats from the massive amount of action that he's been taking. And at the end of the day, Donald Trump is always in campaign mode. He is always in campaign mode. And I know that may sound like a lame excuse, but he is. Donald Trump he is a mass marketer. That is what a campaign is. You are a mass marketer. You're a salesman. You're trying to sell the idea to the American people. Instead of a product, you're selling this idea of who you would be as president. But then it's your responsibility to follow through. You know, do I think it's a little stupid? Yes. But at the end of the day, this is the sort of stuff that is just a part of the Trump campaign, a part of the Trump administration. We've seen it time and time again. Because we know it's not the first time he's floated this idea. You can go back, like we said, 10 years. But at the end of the day, he told the Times that I wouldn't be in favor of it at all. I intend to serve 4 years and do a great job. You know, he said it one way, he said it the other way. I think he likes toying with the idea. I think this is what it does to liberals. They just absolutely freak out. They freak out. You know, they have Trump derangement syndrome like there is no tomorrow already. Trump decides that he's going to, reduce the number of employees in the government, and they freak out like this. Now, what's another one? And that's the lens that I think Trump sees this through at the end of the day. But here's the thing. I think there needs to be serious discussion when it comes to Donald Trump and where the focus is right now. Look, I understand exactly what's going on here. I probably shouldn't say I know exactly, because I don't know exactly what's going on. I feel like I have a good grasp on what's going on here. I don't think that this is something that should be a forefront issue right now. I really don't. Yes, is it distracting Democrats from everything else Trump is doing? Absolutely. And if that is the purpose of it, it's working. If the purpose is to make money, he probably is making money. They have on here on the website, due to high demand, please allow 5 to 10 business days to process prior to shipping. Now, did they just throw that on there because that's what someone who wants to create artificial demand would do? Yes, that's what they would do. But at the end of the day, I think we really need to consider where the focus is. Where is the focus in the Trump administration? I think there's a lot of good focus, especially when it comes to immigration. I feel like the administration has been very focused. I feel like there's been a couple hiccups, but they've been overall very, very focused. Very focused. And you can even see a recent Atlas Intel poll that came out that shows they believe Trump is focused when it comes to immigration. But when you talk about things that Americans are a little more, what would you say, a little more sensitive to, are things like the economy, inflation, the cost of goods and services in the economy. You can see right here, Donald Trump's approval continued in the most recent Atlas Intel poll to drop roughly 1.2 percentage points. Overall, since January, it is down 4 percentage points, which, did we expect? Yes, this is just what happens. It is just what happens. But, if Trump and the team have enough time to focus on trolling about 2028, I think they should have enough time to focus on making sure that they get the things right when it comes to policy. We know that the rollout of the tariffs was a complete disaster. There is no other way to put it besides this was a disaster. The American people support what Trump is doing. They support reciprocal tariffs. They support tariffs on China. They support tariffs to bring manufacturing for critical supply chains back to the United States. What they don't support is the way that Donald Trump rolled these tariffs out. You can clearly see that here. When it comes to the U.S. economy, Trump is 14 points underwater. When it comes to taxes, he's 13 points underwater. When it comes to job growth, 11 points underwater. When it comes to the national debt, he's 3 points underwater. This is not good. Those are not numbers that we need to see. And you can see it right here. Are you in favor or against the new tariffs announced by the Trump administration? Roughly about 58% are either completely or mostly against these tariffs. And maybe is that just the way he rolled them out? Maybe is that the tariffs themselves? We have to dig into the data a little bit more to figure that out. But you can see here, in your opinion, how will the new tariffs announced by the Trump administration impact American manufacturing? Most people believe it will strengthen U.S. manufacturing. They do. But I think people kind of have a skewed idea of what it's going to do. Remember, the output of manufacturing in the economy has continued to increase. The amount of gross domestic product, the amount of GDP that is delegated to manufacturing in the United States as a sheer whole number or as a raw number is more than it was 30 years ago. There's no doubt about that. But the number of jobs, the number of people who are employed has gone down. And you can thank automation for that. Because that's the reality. If we bring a lot of things back to America, it is going to be relying heavily on automation. Yes, it's going to create jobs, but it's not going to create jobs the way people think they will. I think it will create a lot of jobs that cannot be replaced by automation, and we need that, and that's great. But at the end of the day, you have to understand that automation has taken up a lot. They have done a lot to the economy. Now, one data point I wanted to point out that I really think shows, and there's 2 data points that we're going to look at here. First, we're going to look at this. The question that was asked was, in your opinion, is the formula adopted by the Trump administration to determine the tariff set on each country appropriate? 56% say no. 56% say no. You are not even breaking 40% that say yes or yes in part. You have almost 57% of people say no. And I'm one of those people. And I support Trump in exactly what he's doing. But the way it was formulated, do not agree with. But although the American people do not agree with how it was formulated, you can go look at the data, and the data is very clear. They support Donald Trump when it comes to the actual policies made by Donald Trump. Look at this. Raising tariffs against specific countries as a negotiating tactic. You have 53% of America approves of it. Approves of this. Look at this. Raising tariffs across the board to protect U.S. manufacturing. Not as big, but 49% agree with President Trump on that. Agree with President Trump. They want to see that happen. So you can see, they may not agree with the way he rolled it out, the formula that was used to do this. But at the end of the day, they support what he's doing. And so that's why, to wrap this kind of back up, if the Trump administration has enough time to spend on stuff like Trump 2028, poking the bear, distracting the Democrats, trolling the libs, they should have enough time to make sure they get this right. Look, I'm all about trolling the libs and fun and games. But if you're not going to get the policy done at the end of the day, I am not in favor of that. That's just not what I'm in favor of. I don't support that. If you're going to be a troll like this, get the stuff that you promised you were going to do done. And yes, are they negotiating with 70 different countries? Did they just release a preliminary deal with India for a trade deal? Absolutely. But the behemoth is China. That's going to be the big one. We still have a lot to see how that's going to go with China. And you can clearly see, to add on to why the fact that Americans do support it, look at this. Are you in favor or against placing tariffs on imports from the following countries? 51% of Americans, yes, on China. He's a 10-point advantage over the people who are against it. This is huge. They support the overall idea of what Trump's doing. They do not like the tactics. Let's get it right. Let's get it right. You want to be a troll? Because the reality is, the 22nd Amendment of the Constitution is very clear. Donald Trump cannot run for office in 2020. It is not going to happen. Unless the Constitution is amended, which I do not see that happening. Unless the Constitution is amended, it is not happening. But let's focus on these things. Let's focus on these big policies that actually matter. Let's focus on the fact that why is Congress taking a week break when we are trying to rush to get a reconciliation bill done by early spring? Why is that? Why does Congress get to take that much time off? It's kind of ridiculous. And you may have people like Steve Bannon who want to go out there and, this is just wonderful. This is great. It's a troll. He's trolling. He's owning the libs. He's making money. He's a businessman. And the administration should be focused more on legislation, policies, and tactics. That's just my take on it. If you disagree with me, let me know down in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. Do you think that this is serious? Do you think that this is just Trump trolling? Do you think it's good that he's trolling? Do you think it's bad? Let me know all your thoughts. I would love to hear what your thoughts are on this. And as always, drop down below, hit that subscribe button. Make sure you never miss another video from us again in the future. This is how you help support us. If you hit that subscribe button, that is the best way that you can support us as of right now. So I appreciate you watching us today. Thank you so much. You guys enjoy the rest of your night, and God bless.